All right, my friends, welcome to episode 284 of Prof and Dev Play Games. My name is Larry, the professor at Prof Plays Games on Twitter. Over there is Anthony, the dev at Summer Speak. Can I tell you an embarrassing story?
Always.
So I go to bed every night with an AirPod in my ear, and I just like to go to sleep listening to podcasts and just voices, basically. And it always falls out in the middle of the night, and I always find it. Today I didn't find it. And I went to use the toilet, and I just heard a splash. Uh-oh.
Oh no.
And this was not, I was not able to retrieve it.
You're like,
so
that one's just gone. It's
that
just
was gone.
gone.
I'm like, what's my dignity worth? Yeah, turns out it's worth more than one AirPod. So I am down one AirPod now.
Can you
and,
replace a single AirPod? Does Apple offer a service for single AirPod replacement?
I haven't looked into it, but I would suspect, if not them, some aftermarket. I'm sure you can pair them together. I'm going to look because I love my AirPods, and now I'm down to one, and I can still use my one. But wow, yeah. So that was my day. How about you?
My day was not eventful at all, like that.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, it's been a pretty uneventful weekend overall. My normal 2-week grocery shopping. So
Yeah.
that's about it.
Have you gotten on a list, or have you gotten an appointment yet for a vaccine?
No, I've been hearing about Washington State's thing. So last week it opened up to like essential workers.
Okay.
Grocery store, like, so that happened. Of course, you get a huge influx of new people available for it.
Right.
They're going through that now. At the end of this month, I think next week, next like Tuesday, so a week from this Tuesday, it will open up to a bigger swath of Washingtonians, which will encompass a total of 6 million of the 7.1 million people that adults who could get the vaccine in the state. We're a small state. I looked up our population. It's we're not small, but you remember how small population wise Washington is compared to like California.
Oh yeah.
So the governor has now said like, oh yeah, we'll easily meet Biden's requirement of opening it to everyone on May 1st, and likely sooner than that for Washington, because like I said, as of the end of March, we will be 6 million of the 7.1 million could sign up for vaccines. I'm in the last 1.1 million, which they'll probably open up a few weeks after that. So,
yeah, because down here, a lot of my friends have gotten their first shots now, and the California tier opened up basically like BMI, blood pressure, high blood pressure. Like
yeah,
folks
all that stuff is opened up more here.
Oh, okay.
Yes, you have to have some comorbidities.
Yeah, the thing about it though is, and whatever, but they don't check shit when you get there. Like you make your appointment, and then when you get there, they don't. They told me to bring all my documentation to show I'm an educator. I got everything ready to go, and they don't check anything. They just check to make sure you have an appointment.
They just want to get shots in arms. I'm not worried about it. Like I'm at least in a place where I can manage my life. I'm not required to go into active areas. My job's not asking me to come back.
Right.
So I'd prefer not to take that from someone who may really need it, and it's fine. Right. So I can, I can wait. I've had opportunities where I'm like, I could theoretically have got in like weeks ago if I really wanted to.
Right.
Through offers from other people I know that like, hey, if you really want it, I could make a thing happen. And I'm like, I don't. It's okay. I can wait. So it's fine. I can't wait though. The biggest thing for us is we've actually planned vacation plans for the middle of June. We're going to do a big camping trip to Colorado.
Oh, nice.
But we're going to fly, and I was like, the only way we can fly is if we're vaccinated by that point. Like, completely done with our vaccinations. And it looks like that will be possible. So,
and how are you? We're struggling with this, so what's your take on the kids because they can't get vaccinated?
Fine. Like, because nothing, like, we've now been through this through the year. Kids aren't really affected by this more than a cold. Unless super rare occurrences where other kids have bigger reactions to it. But I mean, that's like 0.0001% of kids. So Yeah, we're really not worried about them much at all. Um, so, and it doesn't sound like there'll be a vaccine for them anytime soon.
No, definitely not.
Like, probably at least another year or more, because they want to, of course, they want to study it
You
further
really have
before
to
they
with
ever.
kids.
Yeah, because I think I heard that it likely wouldn't even be for high school age until at least the fall,
Wow.
because they just don't. They need to get it approved. Like FDA doesn't tend to approve vaccines and medication for teens and younger in such short notice.
Right.
Like
That's
they
good
want
practice.
it is good practice. So it's like, but there's also the thing that there may never be a straight vaccine for kids for it.
Yeah.
Like, but it doesn't seem to affect kids. The younger you are, seems to be the better you are. Which is crazy, but I guess your lungs are healthy then. So,
Yeah, with that whole thing, like I've heard that as well. I just wonder, like, long-term effects. Like, is there some long-term effect we don't know about? And I guess that's what keeps me up at night.
maybe, maybe not. I mean, I'm not going to sit in this point. I can't do anything completely about that because I'm also like not going to keep my kids just locked away.
Cooped up for another year. Yeah.
Yeah, like or longer. Like that's the thing. Maybe a year, maybe longer. Who knows? Like again, there could never be a vaccine that is approved for kids.
Right.
Um.
You'll just stay in your bedroom till college.
Oh, geez. I mean, I'm sure there are some parents that be like, "Thumbs up, let's do it."
Yeah.
You're safe.
I mean, it's a thing that we've worried about, but we've come down to like 2 weeks after we get our shot. We get ours this Thursday and Friday, unless there's some sort of shortage, which doesn't seem like that's happening. We're 2 weeks on. We're going to the zoo.
That's
It's
awesome.
like we're ready.
Yeah.
Man.
Oh,
So,
San Diego Zoo. Oh, thumbs up.
it's outdoors anyway, so it's
It's
way less risk. But like, fuck, I'm so ready.
I don't even know
It's
what the
been
hell
over a
I
year
would
now.
do. I'm gonna get it, and I'm gonna be like, and we get through that couple weeks after that final shot. I'll be like, what do I do now? Like,
Right, that's what
I'm
we've been
so
talking about.
used to
Where my
not
wife's like,
going
she has a
anywhere.
massage lined up. That's what she wants to do. I'm like, what do I want to do? I don't know. I like to sit in a tea shop and drink tea, and I'm not going to sit in the tea shop even after my shot. So I'm
Yeah,
not sure.
and I mean, this is the thing about like what I would tend to do is there's a Meeple's Games in West
Oh,
Seattle
right.
where I'd go, but I don't think they're going to be open for like cafe visitors or anything.
Right.
Still for a while, like they haven't been. Like they converted the entire cafe to like more store space currently. So I don't think until like late summer, fall before that it switches back where I might be able to go back there and sit at a table and just like work on my RPG stuff that I want to.
Right.
Um, which I'm like, that's what I really want to do. I just want to go back to that. But I guess I'll travel. That will happen. We'll go do this camping trip through the national parks of Colorado in the summer.
That's awesome. That'd be a great
Yeah,
trip.
it should be fun. We're renting a little camper van, flying into Denver, renting a little camper van,
Nice.
going around for 2 weeks. I mean, when
That's
you
a nice
talk
way to
about
do it because you're kind of like
risk,
limiting your contact with others with
yeah,
being in a van.
yeah. I mean, it's just us in a little van. We'll bring a tent, and the kids. We can figure out where people will sleep. We're hoping the kids will sleep in the tent, but likely it's going to be one of us in the tent with a kid, and one of us in the van.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Let's be honest. Like we have hopes, and then there's reality. Yeah, but it should be a nice way. And we had looked at like the drive from Washington to Colorado. It's like 2.5 days, and we're taking truly like a 14 day thing, and I'd rather not spend 5 days of that driving.
Yeah, no, definitely not.
So,
good choice.
Yeah.
All right.
We'll take
this
my Switch,
week,
though.
Other than
That's for
talking
sure.
about vacation and coronavirus vaccine, we are talking about indie games because it seems like 2021 is the year of AAA games being pushed. The recent example of this being Gotham Knights.
Yep.
But it seems like indie games are the games that we're talking about this year. From Loop Hero to Valheim to other ones I'm probably not thinking of. What the fuck was that one I was just looking at? Anyway, it seems to be those are the big games people are talking about right now. And I don't think it's only because there aren't a lot of AAA games, but also because these indie games are pretty freaking great.
Yeah.
So what do you think, indie game developer?
Yes, it is shaping up to be a game where a year while these AAA games are being pushed out, people still want to play games. And you're seeing these higher quality indie games bubble to the top, and then some, like in Valheim's case, really break out. Like, as of the March 19th, they have now sold 6 million copies.
Damn, that's crazy.
It's not slowing down. They're still #1 best-selling game on Steam. Which is crazy to me that it's not slowing down. But
there is something about that. I mean, I think there's been like, Animal Crossing was the first example of this, but like the perfect game for quarantine time, just out chilling with your friends out in nature.
Yeah, kind of. So I think like that's a big example of breakout. You said Loop Hero. I think they've sold a couple weeks ago, week and a half ago. They said they had sold 500,000 copies.
Wow.
Within like a week of them being out. Like they'll sell into the millions at this point. What else do I see my friends playing? Dyson Sphere. Program. Like that one hasn't taken off as much, but I still see a fair amount of that being played. It's pretty early access, but it feels like it has some stickiness to it. The top sellers are going on right now. Oh, they have this like I don't know what is going on. Maybe it came out of early access, or it's about to. This action RPG called Lost Epoch.
Yeah, I see that on the list. I don't know what that is.
Last Epoch. It's an action RPG. If you look screenshots, you're like, oh look,
God, it looks like Diablo.
There's orbs. Red and blue orbs.
My wish list.
Yeah, pretty much. More fluid class system. I've heard good things, and I see. What did they update recently? User interface, a druid thing. Forecast here. Phase 3 on. So they're pretty much getting close to 1.0. And it's right now the 4th best-selling game on Steam. So, Phasmophobia has been huge. Not this year, but for last year, but it's still going strong. I don't know. Like, there's Loop Hero on here. Bloons Tower Defense 6, sure, why not?
And your perennial favorite, Stardew Valley, is still in the top.
Stardew Valley is never. Yep. Oh, Satisfactory just had a huge update. Raft, like, there's just a ton of indie games now, and more without those AAAs taking up like the marketing money and like just the brain space out of people. I feel like more of these other games are now bubbling to the top here. But I think in a lot of ways, the content creators and streamers are playing these games because they don't have the big AAA games to play.
Yeah, that's a good point. That they don't have the new hotness to play, so they're playing AAA hotness, I guess.
Yeah, they still need content, and so they're looking for towards and at indie games and high quality indie games to fill that content, and you can see that a lot in just like the games that are popular on Twitch. I mean, Valheim has a huge Twitch viewership and streamers.
Right.
Again, a game works that way, but it fits that. But I don't think this has been pretty obvious for many years now that a lot of games that come out of nowhere or do really well are games that are streamed a lot. Reviews matter less. Direct marketing with ads matter less than seeing people playing the game on YouTube, creating content on YouTube about Let's Plays, and Twitch. And so those are
from
prime
like a
places.
Direct relationship with the publisher where they're like, we're going to pay you to stream our game, or is it like more organic than that?
Organic.
Okay.
I think there's a lot of times, like, there's at least Twitch has a lot of rules around, like, hey, if you have to say if you're being promoted for this game, sponsored for it. But I don't know, like for myself, and I think a decent large chunk of the audience, you kind of can sniff that out if a person's actually enjoying a game or not.
Right.
Like truly enjoying it or just enjoying it because playing it because they're being paid. And so real enthusiasm is very infectious to people watching.
Right.
And if you don't have that genuine enthusiasm, you can tell. And I mean, sure, some streamers I bet are very good actors in that way, but a majority of streamers are not actors. They're literally just trying to play games and make money. and like make it a living. So,
yeah, I guess, I mean, if it's your livelihood, I guess you could act it out, but yeah, it seems pretty easy to tell.
yeah,
Baldur's Gate 3 we didn't mention. Would you consider that indie from
yeah,
Larian?
it's still
Yeah, okay.
technically indie. I mean, they're the ones they're self-publishing it. They're not owned by anybody.
Yeah.
So technically, yeah, it would be. I would consider it indie, big indie, but indie.
Right.
I'm trying to think of other ones on here that kind of follows that. I mean, would you consider Cyberpunk indie or not?
I was gonna bring that up and I
It's a
decided not to
weird. It's a
because
weird one.
it
Like,
it seems like it's like, I mean, they're not owned by anybody. They are independent. So technically, yeah, that's an indie game. But it doesn't feel like it, right? Because it's
yeah,
much bigger budget.
yeah. I
I
mean,
guess for
that's
me, it has a lot to do with budget.
it does, and I think that comes down to some of it and perception there. Because in some ways, like CD Projekt is big enough and has the money where they could publish other people's games if they
Right.
wanted to. They don't, but
I guess it's
they
like if you are a company who trade on the stock market, like, are you indie?
are you? I don't know.
I don't know if that's the metric or not, but just throwing that out there.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of other ones because Epic Game Store has some other ones that have been pretty popular. Recently, Loop Hero launched there as well.
Yep. And I grabbed that when it was 12, and that was like a really nice price.
Yeah.
It's good, man. Have you watched much of it?
Which one?
Loop Hero, have you watched much
Oh,
of
I
much
played a
stream?
bunch of it. I played a bunch of it.
Oh, you have it. Okay.
Yeah, I have it, and I play a bunch. I talked about it a few weeks ago.
Okay, I
You're
guess I
probably
forgot. Sorry.
asleep.
The last few weeks have been a haze of fucking work for me. So it's just like, for example, we recorded Valheim 2 weeks ago, and I thought I uploaded it, and then you went up last week, and said you didn't upload this, so we missed a week, even though we didn't mean to.
Yeah, it happens. We're and get insane. I know how that goes. So, what is on here? New releases. Yeah, they have Loop Hero. Oh yeah, like Sony. Was it Marquette?
Oh, yeah, that's right. They've
Yeah,
dropped it
they
as a
gave
PS
that
Plus
out.
game.
Like you're seeing like these indie games being given out through there. I guess Rocket League isn't an indie anymore.
Yeah, and it's owned by Epic now, so
Yeah,
not really.
not so much. Yeah, I do think this year though you're gonna see more of this because there seems to just be a lot of breathing between like big games, especially on the PC.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, name a big release this year that's not coming out on a Nintendo system. I mean, we've got Monster Hunter Rise. What, next week? This week?
Next Friday. Yeah.
The 26th, right?
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm all ready.
Yeah. I bet are you downloaded or whatever?
No, I'm not because I got the collector's edition physical thing.
Oh, okay.
That gives me my amiibo and pins and all sorts
Mhm.
of stuff. But I will get it on Friday. I won't be able to start playing it Thursday night. But that is a sacrifice I will make.
I want my plastic toys.
I do want my Magnum Alo amiibo and all the cosmetics that it gives me. But we'll talk about that a little bit later.
Yeah.
So that's coming
I think you've been
out
playing the demo a little bit.
a little bit. That comes out this Friday.
And then Pokemon Snap at the end of next month.
Other
That's all it's
PC
in my head
games.
for. Oh, no, sorry. Mario Golf in the summer.
Yep. I mean, there's a bunch of stuff on Nintendo. April 1st, Outriders comes out.
Outriders, that's right.
For like a PC game that actually has something going. I mean, that's PC and console. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, it's Game Pass day one, so I think it's Game Pass. Game Pass only on console. On PC, it's not on Game Pass.
Okay. So, I mean, co-op RPG thing. I feel like there's at least some buzz around that one.
Yeah.
Other than that, I'm trying to think. Like, I don't think there's been a lot announced major yet. Like, the best I can hope for is sometime in the June timeframe, we're gonna get at least some announcements of games for the fall for main consoles and PC. I know there's probably not, like Ubisoft, I'm pretty sure there's not another Assassin's Creed game this year.
Right.
Like,
yeah, they're gonna support this one for a couple of years.
Yeah, they're gonna space that out. I don't know if Ubisoft has another big game. Oh, they have Far Cry 6 supposedly this year.
Right.
Maybe that could slip. To be honest, it wouldn't be the first time a Far Cry game has slipped. So,
Well, that's already slipped. It was supposed to be out
yeah,
by now, I think.
yeah.
So
So I'm like going through the publishers. Ubisoft doesn't. They have Far Cry 6 at best as like their big game that they've announced this year.
yep.
Activision hasn't announced anything straight up, but there's probably a Call of Duty going to happen this fall, as always.
Activision Blizzard announced a bunch of layoffs and a
Oh, that's
fucking
true.
Kotick
And
getting a
20
fucking
million
raise.
bonus for Kotick, because good
Oh
job.
my god, what a bunch of fucking shitty people over there
Yep.
leading that place, not the devs.
Yeah. Well,
I have friends.
there's a difference between Activision Blizzard and Blizzard. They're not the same company. Activision Blizzard is
sheltered from that.
Yeah, that's a weird thing. Activision Blizzard, the company that is called Activision Blizzard, owns Blizzard Entertainment.
Right.
It is a company that was formed for the ownership of Activision and Blizzard as separate entities,
right.
Which is what Kotick is the CEO of.
Right.
But I'm sure Blizzard has a CEO as well. I have to check again. Or
I wonder if they call it that, or they have like a different name as to the
president or something.
What was what was his name? Jalen Brack?
Yeah, I don't remember exactly, but they have terms. Like, so Basic Kotick gets money if their stock price goes up, for the most part. That's it. That's what Activision Blizzard is there for the most part, as a holding company for these other divisions that actually do things, other sub companies. I don't know. It's complicated. It was explained to me at one point of being like, oh, they are separate. But that happened. But probably, Diablo 2 Resurrected is probably their. Man. I mean, it's going to be big, but it's not.
That and Mass Effect. What the fuck? I forgot about them because I'm thinking about new games. But those games,
that's the thing.
I don't need anything else. Never mind.
I'm thinking of new games too. I'm like, those are great. You're giving me. There's remasters coming out, but I'm like trying to think of like big, exciting new games.
Halo Infinite. There you go.
Finally, maybe. Hopefully,
I can see
Microsoft hopes.
You know,
it probably is coming out this year. Yeah, Microsoft has Halo Infinite. Do they have anything else big?
I mean, anything from Bethesda. If Starfield comes out this year, which is
that's not going to happen. Bethesda's not going to be releasing anything new. Oh no, they're releasing Deathloop.
I would say on PS5.
Yeah. Are there anything else? I don't like. That's the thing. There's not a whole lot going on there. EA has nothing so far. Like, they're putting out Mass Effect remastered.
Right. Which will do me for the year. I'm totally fine with it. Thank you very much.
I'm just using this as a way to show, like, there's not a whole lot announced for the rest of the year. Like, that big, exciting, like, everyone buys this game kind of stuff.
Right. And just for me as as an individual gamer, thinking about anything that's new, like Diablo 2 and Mass Effect, both I'm very excited about, but those are remasters. The game that I'm most excited about this year, the possibility of it coming out, is Silksong.
Yep.
I want that more than anything. And that's an indie game. And that's kind of, I love, I don't know, I'm just really liking the indie space right now, both in the price point. Obviously, it's pretty nice for the wallet, but you're getting a really, lengthy adventures for a pretty good price. And it's enough. The price point is enough for you to take a dive on something and see if it works for you or not. The photo game that Umurangi Generation that I heard a lot about, and I picked up for like $15. It just didn't really hit with me, but I felt like I got enough of my money's worth out of it.
Yeah,
as opposed to taking a dive on a $60 game and not really liking it.
Yeah, there's not as much buyer's remorse there,
right?
Which is nice. For me, if we're talking about games coming out, there's actual indies coming out this year, hopefully this year, mostly likely this year. Silksong was on. Maybe it's this year. Hopefully it's this year. They'll take as much time as they want though. So
yeah, they will. And I just maybe you can speak to this more than you can more than I can. But do you think that indie developers were better suited to work from home than like the big AAA?
Yeah, because most of them probably already were.
Yeah. Okay. I guess that answers that question.
Unless they are an already successful indie. But usually when indie companies start, they work from home no matter what. But other ones I'm looking for, like Axiom Verge 2, is this year.
Oh yeah, right.
Boyfriend Dungeon.
Oh my gosh, I forgot about that game.
Yeah. Open Roads seems pretty cool. It's just a more visual narrative game. Has some big name actors doing voice work. But that's looked nice. And actually one that Sony has been showing a bunch, which is an indie game, Kina.
Right, that comes out in May, June,
June, I think, May or June. It's coming
August.
up,
No, August. I thought it was
but
August.
it is. I think it's going to be a nice open space for them.
Mm-hmm.
In a few months, we can come back and say I'm totally off base on that. But as of now, it seems like they're releasing a time where they're going to have room for this like indie PS5 game to really shine. If they can land the gameplay, but it already looks gorgeous. I
Yeah, it
played
looks great. It
different
looks like a
trailers.
fun game, and it's I don't know, there's a slight drought for new PS5 games, so
Yeah,
I think that's just beautiful. And I don't think it's going to be a PS Plus game, but Sony has been doing that, with Marquette, like you mentioned, but just dropping nice indie games as their day and date
yeah,
launch for PS Plus.
yeah. But you brought up. I mean, there's just a huge diversity of indie games. Like I was looking at like lists of people that are excited for indie games coming out this year, and beyond like maybe a handful that overlap those lists, all of them had different games,
Hmm.
and they were all looked cool and crazy and different genres, uh, different like what they're trying to message. Some artistic, some very mechanical, um, quirky, more straightforward. Like that's the thing with the indie game is like there is a huge amount of them, which also goes to show that most of them never make money. Um, but there's enough there that you could find stuff that suits your taste or what you're looking for at that moment. But a lot of those games never really get grabbed into the zeitgeist like Valheim or Loop Hero have.
Right.
And I'm sure like it's also really hard to pick out what the next one that's going to do that. Um,
I mean, it's a confluence of so many factors. It's
yeah,
just you can't pin it down.
can't completely pin it down. Because it's super hard to market an indie game to just stand out. There's so many games coming out. There's Ryan Clark who works at Brace Yourself, big Cadence of all the Cadence games and
Mm-hmm.
Industries of Titan. Like he used to do streams pretty weekly, where he would go and look at indie games on Steam and basically review them. Like
Based
they're
on he would play them and review them.
not play them, just look at
Mm.
their marketing, their trailers, what they're saying, and he would talk about things like uh, any game that you're presenting to someone, especially indie, needs hooks. You need to visually hook them, and you need within like 20 seconds,
Mm-hmm.
and you need to have very mechanics that will hook them. In a way, like you can't tell without playing the game about the mechanics hooks, but you can tell real quickly on like Steam. This is when they were doing Greenlight, but you could look at Greenlight pages or early access pages and be like, when I just land on this page, does it hook me immediately? Does the trailer that starts playing on Steam does it make me want to see more? Does it make me want to read what the game's about more closely? Can I tell what the game even is? And then once you start digging into maybe that gets someone to buy the game and try it. You want the hooks of does this game actually make someone want to come back and keep playing it?
Mm-hmm.
Like it doesn't have to be amazingly polished. It doesn't have to be I would you would even say amazingly original. It just needs to have that drive that when you finish it, you want to play more of it. You can see that with Cadence, especially.
Oh yeah.
Like they talk about like having. He's talked about there's so many prototypes even in Brace Yourself that never see the light of day because they just don't have the hooks. Like
Yeah.
they like them, they think they're cool ideas, but people on the team aren't wanting to come back and play them over and over. Like they get tired of their prototype and they're like, it's not good enough. So I think the games like we're seeing get breakout are games that have hooks. Like Valheim visually has that hook immediately.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's intriguing just from the start and the way they market it, like the market on their Steam page and stuff. It's like, oh, this is striking. It's a game that looks neat. It's unique looking. It's intriguing. What the setting is and like what you would do, and then you get to play it, and the loop is fast and furious of just wanting to do more.
Yeah, it really is. And I'm not a person that likes those kind of games that much, but when it was just, I don't know if I would have bought it, even though you were singing its praises, but when it
Yeah.
was purchased for me and
Yeah.
okay, I'll load it up and see what it is. I was in there for 3 hours. I didn't want to stop.
Yeah.
And I came back to it a couple nights.
And so I think where that comes back to being able to predict any of this stuff, if you could look at a bunch of indie games a lot, and that's the problem, that's that there are so many of them.
Mhm.
If you could actually take the time to spend like 15 minutes with all these different games, you could probably predict which ones will bubble to the surface or have the best chance. It's just no one has that time or patience.
Right.
So you kind of have to hope that all the gamers spread out and streamers and content creators are picking and looking at these games, and someone will gravitate and grab it and start singing its praises that will spread to more and more people.
Yeah, it's definitely the crowdsourcing thing. That's the only way that I, other than hearing from you, like notice new indie games is they get pushed to the top of the charts, either here or on, Switch, basically.
Yeah. Hades, similar in this regard. Like,
Mm-hmm.
sure, it has early access and Supergiant has a pedigree, but even they were like taken aback by how successful Hades has been. Like they expected some level of success, but nothing like this.
Yeah, excuse me. It's interesting to compare because they've had success with, Pyre and Transistor and Bastion, but this is like on another fucking level.
It is
Several
like
levels.
they just won best game of South by Southwest.
Oh, damn. Okay.
Yep, they won that against huge AAA games, Last of Us Part 2, Ghost of Tsushima, all these big AAAs from last year, and South by Southwest gave it to Hades. And they're not the only publication or reviewers that have given Hades Game of the Year over all these other games. So that, I mean, it stands out. And again, I would say I'm sure if I had played that in early access, like significantly, I could have been like, oh, this is gonna be huge. But even internally, they never thought that. They're like, it's gonna be successful, but are we gonna win like Game of the Year awards for this thing? Probably
Right.
not. But I mean, maybe that's a level of indie games don't win Game of the Year awards.
Right.
And maybe that will change now. We'll see.
Well, if you beat down the door enough times, like you have
Yeah.
several different kinds of Hades basically every couple of years. That's I feel like it starts to change the conversation. Like some of the publications I read or podcasts I listen to, Hades was one or two,
Yeah.
against those big games. In fact, some of those big games weren't even on the fucking list,
Yeah. And yeah, like you said, like I'm looking at like older stuff that came out, like that quirky hook thing, Untitled Goose Game did the same thing. It's it's immediately hooky. Like you just even see a trailer of it, and you're like, oh, that's cool, that's neat. Like, and you immediately kind of get it.
Mm-hmm.
It had a great 10-second pitch to get people invested in like wanting more.
Play as an asshole goose. That's it.
Yeah, that's all you need to know, and they can show that in 10 seconds in a trailer and make it amusing and fun. Like you're like, okay. I'm trying to think of other ones that have done particularly well that continue to do well. I mean, yeah, you say Hollow Knight. Hollow Knight does really well. It's an intriguing art style. Has great tone whenever they show it off, and it's like, okay. And it's pretty easy to grasp the type of gameplay it's going to be, at least on a high level. When you just see it in 10 to 15 seconds, you're like, okay, I know what type of game this is. I like the art and the tone. So it's easy to transfer out. Dead Cells, especially, had a great look. Look and feel showed really well. I'm trying to think of what other indies have done. Stardew Valley did really
and that
well.
just continues to be on the charts,
Yeah. But I guess
and just some of the crafting Rust,
Rust
I don't play those games, but
so yeah, I do think there's a ton of examples of a lot of successes and a lot of room for success for indies, and indies to fill in gaps where AAA games aren't either not available, like we're seeing this year, or where AAA games aren't really touching certain genres or style of game. Because publishers just don't feel like there's enough money in it, whatever.
Right.
But clearly there's still an audience for those type of games. But let's put it out there with Hollow Knight. People would love another Metroid. They really would. but we're not getting
Jesus.
one, so it's going to be up to other people to make them.
I feel like that's been the genre that's been the most filled
Oh yeah,
in absence of the original, you know?
I, I feel an absence of Metroids and like true 2D Castlevanias.
Hmm.
Um, it's been left to other companies and especially indies to fill those genres out and give quality games to those consumers who want that genre. I'm trying to think of other crazy stats that I've heard. While we talk about all these successes, the ones that have bubbled up, only 5% of about that of indie games ever make a profit. And of that, maybe 10% make enough profit to make another game. So,
Yeah, and I was kind of thinking about that when you were talking about Embrace Yourself, who has all those prototypes and it's just not hooky enough, right?
yeah.
But if you're a team that doesn't have enough budget or money to throw that away and try something new, you just kind of put out the thing that was decent,
Yeah.
but then it goes nowhere.
Yeah. I mean, that's
Yeah.
a really big issue. Brace Yourself had a huge win with Cadence, the first one.
Well,
Crypt
then
of
they
the
got
sorry, Crypt of the
Go ahead.
Necrodancer. Cadence
Yeah,
is the
exactly. But then based on that, they got handed the keys to fucking not really,
Zelda.
but Zelda. Just fucking.
Eventually, it took them a while to get that.
But
But
like that is so amazing, and it makes me think: is there something happening with Yacht Club Games with some publisher who's like, or whatever developer who's like, here, use our IP. You guys are fucking amazing. I don't know if they want to do someone else's IP, but I could see them doing something like that.
yeah, the thing is you have to imagine that they have been approached.
Oh yeah.
The thing is do they want to do it? I don't know.
Well, and they,
And
they couldn't for so long because of their Patreon promises for
yeah,
Shovel Knight. They just had to keep
yeah,
putting that out.
um,
But I'm sure they want to work on their own stuff.
yeah. And the thing is if you can be one of those indie games that like actually makes enough profit to make more games, you're probably actually set at that point.
Hmm.
Because if you've made a game that's successful and successful enough to continue funding to make more games, that first game is actually probably has a long tail on it, and it will probably fund you for quite a while.
Right.
I will not talk anything about System Era here. I'll go back to PopCap. But PopCap, I mean, Bejeweled funded PopCap. There was a good point in time where Bejeweled, whatever version of Bejeweled you want to talk about, was like 50% of the company money.
Wow.
But it gave us like infinite runway.
Right.
Like, as long as Bejeweled sells, which we're talking like 6-7 years after Bejeweled has come out, it's still selling a lot of copies because everyone doesn't have Bejeweled already, I guess. And it lets us just make things like Peggle or buy George Fan's company and make PVZ and get him to help put him that out. And it breeds a certain level of success, but you have to get that first success.
Right.
And that's really hard because it usually takes a lot of games before you get that first success.
Yeah, it's thinking about PopCap specifically and how I like Bejeweled, but I think the other games were better, PVZ and Peggle specifically. But I imagine people, what were they buying on new platforms? Like they like that game, they just want to have
constantly.
it wherever they are.
But then it was just constantly selling on platforms that you would expect that you're like, everyone's already bought it. Like, why is it still selling like PC? like God, doesn't everyone already have Bejeweled? No,
Yeah.
Guess not. But it was kind of hit that mainstay part of like, if a person was even getting a new computer or whatever, it was always just like, oh yeah, just pay a couple bucks, get Bejeweled.
I mean, I fucking bought it. We talked about it, 4 or 5 podcasts ago, and I bought it that night.
Yeah. And so it's I hope this year leads to more of those successes for these indie companies, so we can see even more diversity out of these games. Because I'll be honest, like this is where diversity is going to come into games overall.
Oh yeah,
the AAA publishers aren't going to rock the boat, but indies have the luxury to rock the boat, push the boundaries of the system, make things that they care about, like truly care about.
The passion goes a long way. Jade Raymond kind of mentioned that in her forming of her Haven studio.
Oh yeah.
Speaking of
that's
news,
right. That was some news that happened.
And indies, I guess.
I wish her all the best. She's had a shitty time since leaving
Mm-hmm.
Ubisoft. I'll be honest.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, because she went to Visceral and was working on that Star Wars game with EA, which was hell. And then went to Google Stadia and is doing what Google does. And so,
What you said 2 years ago. That's
yep,
exactly what's happening.
I'm hoping that it's Haven is the company that she's heading up that formed out of Sony.
Yep.
So it's like first party Sony studio, and I hope that it just works better in the fact that it's being owned by a company that really wants to make games and for good first party games.
I thought it was second party. Is it first party?
I thought it was first. I thought they were.
I thought it was like a Kojima thing. I don't think Sony owns Kojima's thing. I could be wrong, but that's what I heard.
I saw the message. I just hadn't.
But she did mention like she's happy to be in a place where people want to make games.
Yeah.
Less on the business side.
Montreal-based independent studio. So yes, it is more like Kojima's thing.
Yeah.
With it being Sony probably gave them startup money investment.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And it probably is a good chunk of the Google in-house development team.
Who went with her, you mean?
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah.
All the people that they laid off.
Yep. Right. That makes sense.
And I guess that is a thing, is she has enough clout and contacts in the industry where she can pull out something like that, being like, hey, though, I'm going to form my own thing. I like the team that I'm on, the people I'm working with. I'm going to reach out to people I know, and I can secure some funding, at least to start making some things.
Right.
So, yeah, I'm very happy for her.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing that. I would love to see her make a game all the way through. It just seems like so many rough starts she's had recently. So
yeah. I mean, that's the downside to working with big AAA stuff and big tech companies.
Yep. Right.
But yeah, I do. Back to our original point, I do think 2021 is going to be a year of more indie successes than previous years.
Yeah, I think I agree with you completely, and I don't think it's just because there are no AAAs in the way. I think some of these games would be shining in anyways.
Yeah, I think they'll just shine brighter because there's not the AAAs pulling mind share off into different directions.
Right.
So yeah, it's exciting. And do I have any predictions of which ones? No, I don't have a clue, honestly.
No. Yeah.
But yeah, I'm excited because I love a good indie game out of nowhere. I can just plop down $15 to $30 and play a cool game.
Yep.
And I will shout out, if you need a cool game, Astroneer is there.
Speaking of indie games.
Speaking of indie games, wholly company owned. Don't have to answer to anybody. Just get to make our little space game.
Seems to be quite popular.
It is.
Is it on? I'm not going to ask that question. Never mind.
No, go ahead. What is it on?
Is it on Switch?
No.
Oh, okay.
Nope. It's on PC, Steam, where you can get it. It's on Game Pass. It's been on Game Pass since 2017. Thank you, Microsoft, for wanting it on Game Pass, I guess.
And continuing, yeah.
And continuing to want it on Game Pass.
Yeah.
It is on, of course, Xbox and PS4, PS5 as well. Although we haven't done a PS5 specific update for it, but it does run better on a PS5. I'll tell you that.
I bet.
So, but yeah, that is my little indie game that I will give a shout out to because it keeps me employed and happy.
Yes. Well, it's got a great fan base. People love it.
It does have a really good fan base. Our fan base is awesome. It has a very dedicated fan base, which is fun.
I would love to get more into it. I think I'll start not a tutorial. I'll start somewhere else.
Yeah, actually, I've talked to you. I sent you a text about it. We have a new update. We have announced this. It's coming out end of March, maybe the first week of April. Just depends on exact timing. But we got through bug fix. We're going into release candidates this week on the update. I'd love to play it, networked with you or anybody else that kind of wants to play it, because it introduces some really cool stuff to the game. We've announced it like a more guided mission system to the game.
Like so right from the beginning?
Yeah, right from the just drop into the adventure game. We just put a pop-up that just like, here's the basic controls. and now you have like a mission, a mission board that is like, go do these things, and as you do them, you get rewards and items that help you build bigger and kind of just ideally just help players kind of grasp kind of the different goals of the game easier. And from our beta testing on it and internal testing, it's helped a lot. So pretty excited about that. I didn't work on that piece. I worked on other things in this update.
I'm looking
Giant
forward
windmills.
Yeah, it'd be cool when it comes out. If we, you and I, maybe some other friends, who have it, can jump in together.
Yeah, I think it for anyone who's kind of been like, "What the hell?" when they try to play the tutorial or anything like that. Like this is just a much cleaner way to start the game and kind of see what it's about.
I've been looking forward to that. I'll be looking forward to that then, because that was hard for me.
Yep, understandable. Hard for
a lot
of people.
I'm not like the best gamer in the world, but I'm not new.
Yeah.
But there were some things, as you noticed, I wasn't reading that I should have been reading. So who knows?
Yeah. Which is fine. So we figured some of that out. And like one of the big reasons of this update was actually for the Game Pass user. So if someone has Game Pass and they're looking at all those games, you should view those gamers as much more window shoppers.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And we were really noticing that like if someone buys the game on Steam, they play it significantly longer and many more times than someone who just installs it off Game Pass.
Right, they might give it one try, right?
Yeah, and so we're really trying to find ways to make that first try for those Game Pass players like actually hooky for them. Like they want to come back to it and keep playing. So, and we definitely through our stats and analytics are like, this is something we can improve, and hopefully we have. And we've been working on that for the last couple updates. Just trying to make that early game and there's kind of the things around it just easier for people to grasp, some more desire to come back for 2-3 times. Kind of match what we're seeing on Steam or PS4 and Xbox. So it's a fun challenge to solve. And I think no matter what, it makes the game better. So yeah.
So pick it up, folks.
That's what I've been busy working on.
Yeah, your work is more exciting. What have you been playing recently?
Okay, so where do I want to start? Have I been playing? Oh, well, let's start with the one that you were like, "What?" I'm playing some Persona 4 Golden. Yeah. I just went back to it and was like, I'm going to play more of it and I'm going to get used to it. So after I've probably put, since the last time we straight up recorded, I've put about 20 hours into it. 25 hours gone. I'm going into the third dungeon. So I feel like I have a good idea of what this game has. And more than anything now, I have a good difference of like what the gap is between this game and Persona 5. Like, I have context for how much Persona 5 pushed the Persona games forward in like design, character, quality of life pieces. Like, there's a lot of stuff in Persona 4 that's still there, clearly as part of the series. But 5 takes it all and does more of it. And this isn't me saying like, oh, 4 is bad. I'm actually enjoying 4, but there's definitely like the dungeons in 4 suck. Like, they're just randomly generated floors that you go through, with really no story. And like a dungeon is 8 or 11 floors, and there's some story usually on the 3rd, 5th, and 7th floor. And by story, it's like a dialogue and maybe a mini boss. Where Persona 5 really was like, and they're, like I said, they're random, like procedurally generated dungeons, where Persona 5 handcrafted their dungeons and made them way bigger and story throughout. Like since they could handcraft them, they actually like put so much of the character story into the dungeons themselves. So the dungeons like have a lot of personality, reasons to push through them. Persona 4 does not have that. And that's kind of hard to go back to something like that. Being like, wow, okay.
Yeah, right.
And then the other piece where I feel like that Atlas really improved was the actual like time spent with these characters, especially whenever you're going into these dungeons. So I won't spoil it, but each dungeon is kind of so far has been tied around a specific character that eventually like joins your group.
Mm.
But before you go into the dungeon, you only really talk to the character like twice. You get a few tiny cutscenes. You don't get a huge amount of the character, and then you go do the. And then you're supposed to be invested in this character going through it. It's really weird that way, and I feel like they amp that up in Persona 5 of being like you really spend time with these characters before you're dealing with them in the metaverse, the shadow world thing. They just add a lot more depth to them beforehand and get you attached to them or give context to what that character is about before going into the dungeon mechanics part of the game. So it's crazy just playing this and looking on what Golden was, I think, 2011, potentially 2010, 2011, where Persona 4 was like 2008.
Mm-hmm.
And Persona 5 was 2015, or is it 2017? No, I think it was 2015, right?
No,
Shit.
I think it was later than that.
I don't know. Time has no meaning.
Yeah, exactly. Let me look this up
90s
real
were
fast.
10 years ago, right?
Oh, Jesus. 2015. You're right.
Okay, it
Wow.
was 20. I guess it came out later in the States. It came out.
Oh, that's right.
North America was 2017. No, because Persona 5 was 2016 in Japan, 2017 in the US. So they actually went from Persona 4 Golden. I'll ignore the Golden thing. From Persona 4, Persona 5, they went like 8 years between making a Persona game.
Oh, it's supposed to be a PS3 game.
Yes. And it shows how much they learned from Persona 4 to Persona 5 and like how much better they got at crafting their stories and their experience. And amplifying the stuff that resonates with people and like actually getting rid of the stuff people disliked. So that's been fun in some ways just to get context playing this game. I will say the characters are really cool overall in Persona 4. It's a completely different vibe than Persona 5. It is totally a murder mystery, and it's set in just a small Japanese like rural town. So it's not big city, and it just has a much chiller vibe than Persona 5. Yeah, it's a different experience. I will also say 2008 Japan, a bit homophobic, and that shows.
Yeah, I've been having conversations with my friend Bill. He's playing through this as well, and there's definitely conversations and text that's just like, this is not good.
No, it's not good, and that's totally. I don't want to completely generalize Japanese people, but the Japanese culture. I've talked to my wife a lot about this. When she exchanged there for the year and her studying, she's like, yeah, homophobia is not, especially through the like 2010s, not 2010, like 2000, 2010, mid 2010s area, 2015. It would be pretty common to be like, yeah, there's no gay people in Japan. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Like, it just wasn't part of and then you can start getting into the whole thing with sexuality in Japan and like the culture of repression of sexuality and the whole thing. There's a lot to unpack there, but this game doesn't handle it what we look at it now in any way good. And I think even back in 2008, we'd be like, oh, that's not good. I think we'd just be more vocal about it now in a lot of ways.
Yep.
But at also at the same time I say that as homophobia, not constant, but at times, but it is also like the gayest of the Persona games.
That seems like an odd.
It is goes complete 180 at times. You're like, are you homophobic? Or are you like, yeah, gay people rule? Like it's and everyone's thirsting over everybody in the game.
Does it like treat? Is it like jokey, like treating?
That's the homophobic part.
That's what I'm wondering, if that's how it's treated. If it's like angry or if it's jokey, and that's
jokey.
That's terrible. Okay,
it's very jokey.
I'm not a fan of that shit.
When it's that, and jokey in a like other, there's a character that clearly is repressed. Like that's whole part of their story is their. Again, Japan, like, I mean, that's probably pretty true in a lot of ways. If this is a society that is not very accepting, they're like, what is wrong with me? Clearly, I like guys. I don't like women, that doesn't seem right, and that's like one of their big hangups. And then they start accepting who they are, but other characters are kind of being like, so wait, because they'll say something about like being cool around women now, but they're like, but you like women? Like, no, I don't, like stuff like that.
Oh man. Okay. Yeah.
But I'm like, yep, it's 2008 Japan. Like, I mean, I could probably go 2008 America as well in some ways. Let's be honest.
Or 2021 America in some
Yeah,
places.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't
It's
condemn the game on this completely. I'm just like, cringe. At least it's not constant, but every once in a while it happens, and it's specifically with one character. But then other times, it is very much like, I wouldn't say celebratory of queerness, but is also not like making fun of it at all. Just being like, yeah, queer people, it happens. Like, you want to like the dude? Cool, like the dude. Like, so there's just tonal shifts of that where you're like, what's going on? Why? Maybe it's different writers.
Sorry, go ahead.
Maybe it's different writers doing different parts. I don't know.
How does that carry forward? Does that theme carry forward in Persona 5 at all? Or is it like handled
There's only
differently or better?
one point in Persona 5 where I say that it is problematic. There is two 30-second scenes throughout the entire game, and they actually got changed in Royal to tone them down, where there's... You've played enough Persona 5 to know Ryuji, right?
Oh, yeah.
The blonde... yeah.
Yep.
So they go into... I don't know what Tokyo district. And they're walking around at night in more of a seedy location. It's a place that just has a bunch of clubs and nightclubs. And gets approached by two drag queens. And you're a high school student. And I think in the original release, it's alluded to that they're like sexually harassing Ryuji. Like you basically let them take him, so you can go do something else. In Royale, they change it to be like they're not sexually harassing him. They're like, oh, you would look great in drag. Want to go do your first drag show? And take
he's like,
off.
yeah, or he gets pulled away.
He gets pulled away. So I'd say it's problematic. It's toned down in Royal, and you beat the same drag king couple later at the beach as well. And it played up for gags of Ryuji being like, "No, don't let me. No, I don't want to dress up again."
Yeah.
Is it great? No, it's nothing like Persona 4 though. I will say that.
Well, that's progress.
It is a progress, and it's only those two things as the entire time through. I think the bigger thing with Persona 5 is it's just not really represented at all. The closest is you get Yusuke, the Matt Mercer character, who is never called out as, but is very much probably ace overall. Like, it's played that way, his text is played that way. Just like the ace artist is only interested in the physicality and how it matters to art more than anything. But that's all you get. Like, other than that, there's almost zero representation in Persona 5. It's all straight Japanese people.
Yeah.
So
well, I'm glad
Japan, I guess, in some ways. Like, they're making progress. It's slow, but it's happening.
It does make it hard to revisit those games sometimes, or play them for the first time.
It did a little bit. I think on Persona 4 I'm through the majority of it. So
yeah, I know Bill's modding some parts of that game for quality of life stuff mainly. I don't know if you do that, but
yeah, I installed like a community mod.
Okay.
That was recommended for PC that had quality of life stuff, and I think it had some. It didn't change the parts that I was talking about though.
Yeah, no, yeah.
It re-enabled a gay relationship you could enter though, which dialogue was there for it, but it just wasn't turned on in the final release of the game. So, not that I care. I'm like, I don't really care for that character at all. So, but yeah, it's an odd one to play and revisit things from that time. I mean, it does make it a little hard sometimes, cringy. It means I have conversations with my wife and being like, let's talk about homosexuality in Japan and culture for like an hour and a half.
Right. Why is this the way it is?
Like, I know that this exists, and like, let's go into this. Let's go deeper. Like, what was your experiences there and everything, and also knowing myself, hear through acquaintances of native Japanese people living here that are gay who cannot tell their parents or their family.
Right.
There's a reason why they live in the U.S. because they do not feel comfortable telling their family. So that's in 2020 and 2021. So
right.
that exists.
That's really hard.
It is really hard. So I'm playing that, and then go to a less serious side of things. The Monster Hunter Rise demo 2.
Yeah, I saw that pop up when I was playing one of the games I'll talk about later with my daughter, and I was like, "Is that the game or is that the demo?" I couldn't quite tell, but it's the demo.
The demo. So we're gonna go through the convoluted setup that I've had to do so I can play this game with a voice.
With a voice?
Voice chat.
Oh God! Oh no!
Because I'm how I started playing this demo is I'm playing it with the two guys that I was playing Monster Hunter World with. We're like, "Yep, we're in. We're going. We're gonna play Rise."
Yep.
How do we talk to each other? Because Nintendo fucking makes this so goddamn difficult. So the Switch, when the rest of my family plays the Switch, they never play it on TV. They always play it handheld, like Stardew Valley handheld. So I'm like, cool. I'm moving the dock onto my computer desk, and I'm just gonna run HDMI from it into one of my monitors. Open HDMI ports on one of my monitors. Cool. Solve that. Because I'm like, I'll play Rise, I'll just play it at my computer, and I can use Discord for a voice chat. Well, shit. I want the game audio, and I want to be able to talk to someone.
Makes sense.
So, my Astro headphones that I bought years ago, came with a Switch adapter. So, it's this little thing that has a single plug for me to plug my headset into, that has the mic and thing, and then it has two 3.5 millimeter jacks coming off of it, one which only carries stereo audio, and one which will do mic and stereo. So my Switch is now plugged into my desk with the dock there. The dock goes into a monitor via HDMI. The HDMI takes the audio from the Switch to my monitor.
Mm-hmm.
My monitor doesn't have speakers, but it has a headphone out port on it.
Mm-hmm.
So this little adapter, the audio only side goes into my monitor to take the HDMI audio. The other adapter plugs into my mic slot. Into a splitter that I have that also came with my Astro headset, which splits the 3.5 millimeter jack into microphone plug, headphone plug, which is in the front of my computer. And so this thing plugs into that. So my mic from my computer and audio from my computer now route in. The Switch audio routes in, and then that all comes to my headset.
That sounds like such a pain in the ass.
It is such a goddamn pain in the ass. But it worked, because on Saturday night, I played until like 1 a.m.
Nice.
Hunting monsters with my friends, and it was amazing.
And that's just the demo. Like that's
just
experience.
The demo. Oh my God.
That's enough for you all to dig in.
I am so ready.
Oh my God, that's cool.
Yeah, when I was out, no, I guess that was Friday night. Yeah, it was Friday night we played. Saturday, I just took the Switch with me in handheld, and whenever I was on the ferry going to do my grocery shopping across, I just played more in handheld solo, trying out different weapons, trying out a couple different hunts, because they have 3 different monsters to hunt in the demo. Played a little bit more Saturday night, and I think did I play today? I don't think I played today. Yeah. I mean, it's World, kind of, mostly World with changes, but World for the most part. The demo doesn't get into like armors or anything. Like you can't see even what type of armor you have equipped. You have armor, but you can't see the stats of it. You have no clue what it is. That's fine. They're really just choose a weapon, fight a monster. And the weapon I'd used in World, the Insect Glaive, which I really enjoyed. I don't really enjoy it in Rise all that much.
Oh, really?
It got changed because of some mechanics that they added, the wire bug, which is the thing that lets you like fly into the air and do all sorts of crazy moves, and like it's a kind of another type of resource that you can spend during hunts, and it recharges. But because of that, some of the controls changed. I just don't like how the controls feel now while playing it. So I was like, screw it. I've heard that they made the hunting horn pretty cool in this. Let's play hunting horn for a bit. I'm a fucking bard, and it's great.
I was gonna say that's a weapon.
It's a weapon that is all about playing notes as you smack the monster. Um, and it does play notes when you smack the monster.
Oh my
The one
god,
that
that sounds
the
so
one in
fucking
the
cool.
demo is very guitar like, so it has strings running down. And you hit it, and you go like, and there I notes in quotations. It's like your different attack types do different notes, and what you're trying to do is do combinations of different attacks to initiate melodies, which give party wide buffs, attack buffs, defense buffs, heals. If you get the 3 songs up and running, you can then do other effects. If you play a single note of the 3 different songs, it opens up this magnificent trio, which is like flashy thing that you can do that then gives you all the songs at once. There's a lot of combos to the fact that you only have a few attack inputs. But I've basically been playing that and just having a blast with it. And yeah, it's absolutely ridiculous. It's a giant stone-looking guitar thing that plays songs when you hit monsters.
That's so cool.
It's so stupid, but I love it. It's what is this game? What is this universe that they've created? I don't even know, but I'm here for it. And this Friday, I will play the crap out of this game.
I say you got lost in World for God ever. Is that likely to happen here too?
Probably.
Yeah, that's cool.
Because the grind, the grind, the constant improvement, the going up the ladder of new weapons and gear hunts was just such a big drive. And then I've got friends to play it with. I think that's a huge thing. Yeah, this is the type of game I really enjoy playing. It's not competitive. It's pure co-op. And it's just execute the fights. Yeah, I could go on. There's tons of other just mechanical changes for the game. But it's world with changes, but overall I like a lot of the changes that they're making. So, and it's on the Switch of all things.
Yeah, that's pretty nice.
And I mean, it doesn't look as good as World, but it's also impressive that this game is running on a Switch. So,
and running pretty well.
Yes,
that's cool.
A frame drop here. I think it's only doing 30, and frames drop every once in a while. But with 3 of us fighting a monster, I didn't notice any significant problems. So
yeah, I guess that's all you can ask for on the Switch, man.
And yeah, and I get a Pro controller comes tomorrow.
Oh my god,
you haven't had one yet? No,
I forgot about that. Oh, that thing is a dream,
and I need it. I need it so bad. But it arrives.
Oh tomorrow. Man, the 8-bit though is they're just releasing, or they have just released their.
I really don't like the look of that controller.
You don't? Oh man,
I hate that flat top look to the whole thing.
It is definitely odd. Yeah.
Is it comfortable?
I can see that. I've never used them.
Okay. To me, when I look at it, I'm just like, this looks uncomfortable in how I'd hold it and everything. Yeah. So I'm just like, it's fine. Because also when I was looking for like, what is the best external controller for Switch, every place was like Pro Controller.
Oh yeah.
They're just like, hands down, this is better than everything else.
Yep.
And then my friends who have Pro controllers are like, no, it's my favorite controller of all time. I'm like, holy shit.
It is super comfy. I think I'm gonna get the 8-bit Pro because of the back pedals. But I love the Pro controller. And now we're playing 3-player. Mario 3D World, and my daughter has the Joy-Con with a little doggy, holder, whatever. My wife uses the Pro controller, and I have 2 fucking Joy-Con just separated, which is shitty because my hands cover it, and it covers the radio receiver, so it's like every other jump doesn't register, and it's just like, oh my god, you can't have that on a Mario game.
No. Yeah, I'm just using mine, and when I've been playing monitor and stuff, you call it the dog controller.
Yeah, they call it the doggy.
Yeah, because you could just
hold it.
Remember you can put the stickers on that make it look a derpy dog. So yeah, I mean, I have that. And I'm playing it. And it's fine, but I really, more than anything, I just want the Pro controller for like real thumbsticks.
Oh yeah, totally. Those
Like
little ones are not
more
not
precise
the
thumbsticks.
same.
I need it for Monster Hunter. I just need more precision.
Yep, that makes sense.
So, yes, I'm excited for that. I decided not to wait for the even try for the Monster Hunter Pro controller. It's
You're
also,
just not gonna get it.
I figure I'm not going to get it. It will sell out immediately, and then it's also $5 more.
Mm.
And oh, that's the thing. It's $5 more than retail, which is $75 for that controller. But you can get off of Amazon or Best Buy. They're selling Pro controllers for $10 less than MSRP.
Ooh, they are?
Yeah, they sell them for
Oh.
60 instead of 70. So I ordered one from Best Buy. So I was like, yeah, I'm not paying $15 more just for a Monster Hunter controller that I likely won't get, and I'd much rather have a Pro controller here and ready to go by Friday. So
Yeah.
not worth it. But
I
yeah,
still want to
that's
get. I still want to get a hold of those Zelda Joy-Con that sold
good
out
luck.
immediately.
Yeah, how much are those on eBay right now?
Uh, I'm not even looking, dude. I can't.
Let's see. Let's see.
Nope, that'll make me sad. I really want them, but
Oh
no.
wait, because there's the Hori one. $140.
So it's
No,
double. It's double. It was because they're 70. That's
140 on that one. 170 on that auction. 150. Is that a bit? Is the 100? No, the 140 is a just buy it now.
yeah.
So like it's not even bidding on. But so yeah, it's $140 if you want those Joy-Cons. Enjoy. You can go to bed with that tonight thinking about that.
I think that they're gonna have more at retail, but I'm still not gonna get them. I'm sure.
I would think so. Yeah, I don't. Honestly, they're cool. At this point, I'm like, I don't care enough to try to fight to get any of this stuff.
Yeah.
So, nah. But that's what I've been playing, I think, for the most part.
Awesome. So 3D World for Us, which I just kind of gave you the rundown of what that's been like. That game is. Did you play it when you had my Wii U?
Nope.
And you don't have it now.
Nope.
It's one of my favorite Mario games. It's fucking just. It's really good. It's kind of like the compact 3D levels with a time limit and kind of confined, like really like 3Dized the 2D Mario game. Tons of hidden stuff, really cool. It is borderline unplayable when you are playing multiplayer. Just unless you are playing with like 3 players who are like really on their shit. And even then, I think it would be frustrating. But like, with like me, my daughter, my wife, and everyone's just on different areas trying to do different things. And it's just like when one person goes off the screen, other people die, and it's fucking chaos. It is chaos. And my daughter, like playing with her and my wife on other games is not chaos. It's just this specific game. It's hell. We need to like get on a different 3-player game. So been playing that. My daughter and I have played through Odyssey. We've gotten through New Donk City and then the Lost Kingdom. Or maybe New Donk City is later. Anyway, we're about halfway through, and yeah. New Donk City was the last one we just did, and she just fell in love with Pauline. She's just like all about Pauline right now.
It takes a good musical number. That's all it takes.
Dude, we have a swing in our house, and she just wanted to listen to that song.
Yeah.
And so we listened to that song while she was swinging, and then the rest of the day she's like, Odyssey, yes, see, Odyssey, yes, see. And it was really cute. But that's just such a perfect game to play with her because for some reason those like true 3D. Okay, so a 3D Mario where she can play by herself without other people running off the screen. Like she can handle it. She can jump over things. She can kind of get places. Like it's becoming more and more intuitive for her. But in that game, the second player can play as Cappy, so she just rolls around as Cappy. But it's cute. It's nothing. It's totally appropriate for her, and she's having a lot of fun watching Mario turn into different fucking weird things. So that's been really good. And then for me, I've just like hit this Nirvana experience, which is only similar to the time when I discovered that I could turn. I don't know if I told you this or not. Where I could turn on Lord of the Rings, turn the sound down, put on Deadmau5, and get high and just watch it. And just like how amazing it was. It was like seriously, I still like one of my favorite experiences, media experiences is to do that. Like people are talking about like turn on Dark Side of the Moon and fucking Wizard of Oz at the same moment and whatever and get high.
Yeah.
And, I've done that too, and that's whatever. This dude, turn the sound on Lord of the Rings off, turn on Deadmau5, get high. It is fucking great. So I'm not high. I haven't been high in a long time. But this week, my wife and I, we do a video game night once a week. We played golf with friends. I lined up 3 different games. I
Golf
lined
with
up Dream
friends.
Daddy. Let's say it again.
Golf with friends.
Dude, it's really good. Have you played
I'll
it?
totally play the shit out of that. I
Oh,
love
dude.
that game.
Yeah, let's play it. It's fucking great. So she chose that. I lined up 3 different kinds of games: Dream Daddy, um, Golf with Friends, and The Witness. Like really 3 different games. And I kind of showed her the trailers, and she's like, "I want to play that one." And it turns out she's really into gameplay more than anything else. So she's like, "That looks fun," and we had a blast. It's fucking awesome. But then at the end, I turned on The Witness, and we played for about. I just wanted to show her what it was like. And it turned out, 5 minutes turned into like 45 minutes, and she was totally into the puzzle. She's like, I see why this is really cool, and I haven't played it since like 2016. So the last couple of nights after work or whatever, I'm just like done, and I want something chill. So I put on The Witness, and then there's no music, at least where I'm at right now. Maybe there was music later, and then I turn on lo-fi, either Critical Role, the thing I sent you, or Nintendo lo-fi. Like artists have taken video game music and turned it into lo-fi music, which I'm just like so. I just hit my fucking mic.
Yes, you did.
Yeah. Okay, you're still there. When I was recording my other podcast, I did that, and it shut down the whole recording system. I don't know why it did that. Anyway, so I put on lo-fi, and I'm doing the fucking Witness, and I'm just like in fucking heaven, dude. It was almost like the Deadmau5 Lord of the Rings thing. It was just so perfect, just running around doing these puzzles, listening to really chill music. And I don't know if I've just figured it out better or I've gotten smarter, but I easily got further in the Witness than I did 4 years ago when I was like banging my head against the wall. I've turned on one of the laser beams or whatever that shoot toward the middle of the island or whatever. And I'm just really enjoying that game. And it's not like anything else I've been playing recently. It's just this very, I don't know if esoteric's the right word, but weird ass puzzle game that is a lot of fun.
It is definitely weird. I haven't played much of it ever, just because I don't tend to play puzzle games at all, because I'm pretty mentally exhausted by the end of the day for puzzle games, because I'm solving puzzles all day.
Right.
For work. And why do I go to action RPGs more than anything? Because I don't have to do anything like that. I just click and things blow up. It's dumb, but it's true. I understand my mental place after work. But that's really cool, though. And at least you don't have to be high while playing The Witness, because I bet it would be worse if you were high.
Oh, I would fucking ruin myself. No, that would be bad. No, it's super enjoyable. I've put 5 hours into it in the last couple of days. I've just like somehow gravitated toward like, this is the perfect, I'm done with work, I'm just fucking chilling out game.
That's cool.
So I'm very, very happy I've rediscovered that game, which it kind of leads me to some of that conversation we had earlier and thoughts about this year in terms of like it's a year of indies and a year of play your back catalog.
Yeah.
So I'm enjoying that.
Yeah, actually, putting my Switch on my desk here and through the monitor and everything,
Mm-hmm.
I was looking through. I was like, God, I have a lot of games on here. I should go back and play, like more of. I think nothing that I haven't beat, but I'm like, I could go play Breath of the Wild again. I haven't touched that in a while, and I know I'd love it.
I will tell you, I have thought the same thing about Breath of the Wild and Hollow Knight. When some nights I'm sitting around like, what do I want to play? Do I want to keep playing Final Fantasy or Persona? By the time I get to Persona, by the way, like there's so much reading involved. I'm so tired that I'm just like, I can't do it. I need to play it when I'm awake. But those 2 games, I'm like, I know I'm going to love it. Those games are amazing. Just go back and do it.
Yeah. I have that. I have Final Fantasy 12 that I'm partially through on Switch because I bought that game 3 goddamn times. But I'm like, I could play that. I was looking at my list. I have a chunk of stuff there that I'm like, there's no reason I couldn't go back and play that stuff. And the thing is, because I went through that hellscape of getting the audio all set up properly, I can actually play the game on my monitor and still have computer audio coming through. So if I'm like wanting to just like spend time like running around in Zelda or grinding in Final Fantasy, I could have music on. I could have an audiobook going, and it's super easy to do. Like, there's some appeal to that to me, like being able to just play a game like you do with Witness and having some music in the background going. I can play these games now and have that really easily without having to like juggle headphones or having audio coming out of both speakers and the whole thing. So yeah, I feel like putting the Switch here will have me playing more Switch games. In the end,
It's a great system.
it is a great system. Maybe we'll get a new one.
I know. I feel like we will. I feel like they're bullshit about there is no Switch 2 coming or whatever or Switch Pro. I mean,
the only thing that makes me worry that we won't get a Switch 2 anytime soon necessarily is the global microprocessor.
Oh, that's true.
Problems.
That is true.
Like they just won't be able to get production up until that's solved, which I think be solved and probably until like the fall this year. I'll be honest.
Yeah.
We're so screwed. Everything's screwed. There's just not enough microprocessor fabrication to go around.
Yeah, my semiconductor stocks that I bought in the beginning of February, that was probably not the right time to buy. They're down. Yeah, that's. I mean, car companies, everything. Like the used truck market is like on fire because you can't make new ones really because they don't have. Everyone needs a fucking chip.
Yeah, there's lots of chips. That's the thing, and I read into it. There's a big confluence of reasons why this is happening. One of which is the stupid trade war with China. Cut out being able to use one of the big foundries in China. So
Jesus,
that screwed up a lot. Yeah, basically, that one's coming home pretty hard there for U.S. companies that want microprocessors.
Right.
So, that's where we're at. So I don't expect it. At this point, I'm like, I don't know if there'll be a Switch 2 this year because of that.
Yeah.
Because it will still need NVIDIA chips, most likely. Because they were not going to change architecture straight up because it needs to run Switch games overall.
Right. Yep.
So it needs to be part of that NVIDIA Tegra architecture.
Mm-hmm.
And NVIDIA can't get fucking processors made right now. Or not to capacity. They would love to be making probably all the 3080s they could. But they can't. So I have a hard time seeing how Nintendo will convince them to get a portion of their fabrication.
Yeah. And then when those products finally get to the U.S., the fucking tariff markup because of fucking Trump moron.
Yeah. Yep. So I assume that gets rolled back here at some point, right?
Unless China's like, no, we're good.
That's true.
I don't fucking know. I don't know, man. I mean, Biden's got so much shit on his plate to fix from that moron.
Yeah. We'll get through it. It's just fine. I just haven't heard anything on that for the most part. And actually a long time. I'm like, do the tariffs still there? I assume they are.
Yeah. Oh, fuck yeah, they are. Yep.
Cool.
Yep. Because I'm trying to get I was trying to get a 3070 for a while, and they're more expensive than they were, obviously.
Oh, they're more expensive for a lot of reasons. Because Bitcoin's at $70,000.
No. I mean, like straight from EVGA. Like they have not marked it up in terms of like demand for Bitcoin miners. It's marked up because of the tariff, and then
just MSRP
aftermarket
plus tariff.
It's crazy.
Yeah, aftermarket, and honestly, some card manufacturers are selling them at super marked up rates as well.
Yeah, and I've seen that too.
Which is not cool, but
no, EVGA, the one who I buy it from, has not done that.
That's good. Good job, EVGA. Be awesome.
Yep. And they, we'll see. I don't know. I'm not in a hurry. My 980 Ti is doing just fine, and I have my gaming laptop, and I have a fucking PS5.
You'll be okay.
What's that?
For what you're playing, you'll be okay.
Oh yeah, I'm totally fine. I'm much more focused on putting my money in retirement accounts right now than anything else. So I don't really give a fuck.
Yeah. Oh, cool.
Yeah. Well, that turned into a long podcast.
It did.
Thanks everyone for joining us for this podcast. If you like us, please rate us on your podcast service of choice, tell a friend or two, and we'll be back next week to talk about that state of play that's coming up.
I have no clue. Nothing. I'm going to talk about Monster Hunter. I'm just being honest.
Yeah, you are. Yeah, you're talking about Monster Hunter. Anything for me this week? Probably just more Witness. That's what I think I'm going to be this week.
Okay.
Spring break. One more week till spring break. So
that's true.
Maybe I'll get a week. Oh, I'll be talking about my shot. I'll get my shot this week. I'll be
talking
about
good job.
How I was sick as shit for
a day, I've heard this one can be rough. It was not rough for my mom though. Like the two people I know that were, my mom and my mother-in-law both have had it, and beyond like arm sore than normal, didn't really have any issues. My sister, who got her second, she was pretty out of it for about 24 hours.
Yep, that's what I've heard.
Um,
My wife and I have staggered, so I'm first, she's second, and hopefully
that's
we'll
good.
be.
That's a good plan.
Yeah.
Whenever we eventually do this, wife and I have talked about we will not do it on the same day.
Yes.
We will put a couple days in between us, just in case for that reason.
Well, and Travis is getting his tomorrow, next day, and he's doing the
Nice.
same thing. He's staggering with his wife.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So, yeah. All right. Well, we'll see everyone next week. Thanks.
Later, everyone.